Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtan from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to episode 10 of Heart Centered Revolution podcast. I can't believe we made it to this milestone, and I'm so excited to share with you our first Q&A or Kundalini Yoga question and answer episode. We actually got such a good response and got so many questions that we split it into two separate episodes. So you are listening to part 1 of 2. So our next episode, episode 11, will be part 2. So to make this episode, we got questions from listeners and students in our class, and we collected them, and any question that we heard more than once or that we've heard before, or that just was interesting that we hadn't thought about, we included those in this 2-part Kundalini Yoga Q&A set of episodes. At the very end of this episode, I will lead you through a pranayam that will create relaxation and help you learn how to reduce the buildup of toxins in your lungs. And then I also share how you can access our free program, 10 Days of Kirtan Kriya. So this program teaches you how to do the Kirtan Kriya meditation and then sends you a free meditation video every day so that you have us there with you at home, guiding you through your practice every day for 10 days. You can use it to learn a new skill if you've never done Kirtan Kriya before, or to jumpstart your daily practice. If you've been wanting to start every day, then you can use that to jumpstart your practice. All right, we will get into the question and answer portion. So for this episode, Ramtan and I are together again, and it was really fun to record. So I hope you enjoy it. Before we get into the questions about Kundalini Yoga, we should start at the beginning and answer the question, what is Kundalini Yoga?
Well, Kundalini Yoga is a style of yoga. As we know, there are many styles of yoga, but as has been said, and many practitioners of yoga would agree, Kundalini Yoga would agree with this, that Kundalini Yoga is a yoga of awareness. And as we do the meditations, as we do the kriyas and all the practices that are involved in Kundalini Yoga, we become aware of our own energy within, and that is our own existence, how we relate to every aspect of who we are through our breathing, through the exercises, as we deal with the subconscious chatter, so to speak, and through the practice we get to reshape that subconscious tendencies that we have. So that's the awareness part. And Kundalini Yoga is said to work with our glandular and our nervous system and strengthen the glandular and nervous system. And that occurs through the tension, pressure, friction, and stress that we create through the kriyas, and also as we do the meditation, the more subtle part of the energy force that we create to reshape and so to speak, the reprogramming of the subconscious mind. So it is understood that that Kundalini energy, it is known as the coil, is at the base of the spine, and as we do work that energy throughout the body, aligning all the chakras, we kind of awaken that light energy at the base of the spine, and by kind of clearing the channels, we bring up that energy, that consciousness, that awareness of our energy through the body, through the spine.
People often ask if Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness, like what are you becoming aware of? And the answer is of everything. And it varies from person to person. And throughout your practice, you have levels of awareness that you become aware of that are very personal and individual to you. But it spans everything from being aware of your connection to the infinite, the universal, your connection to another human being. Like you can almost feel their aura in your aura. You can feel their heartbeat in your heartbeat. You can feel their emotional shift in your space. So you become aware of those human to human connections. You become aware of what thoughts and feelings are programs from your subconscious mind, what thoughts and feelings and guidance comes from your soul. So you get this really cool awareness of what's real and what's not within yourself. And then it can be as physical as how different foods affect you. So you become aware of, or even more aware, unfortunately, of how eating a delicious pizza makes your body feel, or of how eating a salad makes you feel. So you become aware of all of these experiences of life, from the seemingly mundane to the absolutely infinite, expansive, and beautiful. Something that might be a little bit technical, but I think is interesting to understand, is that in Kundalini Yoga, we use physical movements, mantra, eye gazes. We hold our fingers in certain positions, we chant, we do all of these things to activate different parts of our body. But what moves the Kundalini Yoga, the Kundalini energy from the base of our spine up the central channel, which is called the Shushmana, is the mixing of two forces. So yoga understands that we have two forces in our body. One is the life force that brings life into us, called prana. And the other is the eliminating force that helps us relieve what we don't need, release toxins, eliminate what's no longer necessary. So in Kundalini Yoga, we mix. It causes a mixing of the prana and the apana around the navel center. And this pressure causes the Kundalini Yoga, or the Kundalini energy to move up the central channel of the body through all of the chakras. So more of our awareness, more of our consciousness is in our higher chakras, but it's also in our lower chakras. So we become a fully balanced human being. Our second question for the day is, how is Kundalini Yoga different from other types of yoga?
All right. So if that's best answered by practicing and experiencing Kundalini Yoga. So the difference is, you can't say it's different, because it encompasses every other style of yoga in a way. And Kundalini Yoga is sort of, I don't know if this is the correct word, but made up of if you practice, for example, vinyasa or karma yoga or laya yoga or any other style of yoga, that you hatha yoga, and you emphasize on more strongly on a certain aspect of your body and of a certain aspect of who you are, even as a human being, mind, body, or spirit. Some yogas you just really karma yoga, for example, or other yogas there's more meditation involved, or anything like that. Kundalini Yoga has all of that in it. So when you go through a certain class, the kriyas themselves are very systematically put together to really work every aspect of every chakra area and your body and every organ and the nervous system, to really give you the experience of that awakening that we talked about earlier, and the experience of energizing, at the same time relaxing your body. So what makes it a complete comprehensive practice is, we do the Kriya, we tune in to get ourselves connected to that infinite source, that higher source, and we do the Kriyas, the physical exercises. There's so much science behind that, again, that gets us ready and for our meditation. And before that, we do the relaxation to get our soul in alignment with that physical energy movement that we done prior, and the meditation we're going to do to clear the mind and at the same time exercise the mind.
Another thing to note is that the goal of all yoga yoga comes from the word yoke. And so it means to unite. And so the goal of any yoga is to unite your individual consciousness with the infinite collective consciousness. So this is the goal. If you go to a vinyasa class or a hot yoga class, that's the actual goal of those practices, even though they're not marketed that way in the West. So there are actually 22 different types of yoga. As an example, karma yoga isn't any physical activity at all. The way of karma yoga is to unite with that infinite consciousness through positive, selfless acts. So like Mother Teresa she may not have known it, but she was a karma yogi. So she experienced her union with God by serving other people. And as another example, bhakti yoga is to completely immerse yourself in love and experience your connection with the infinite through this expression and experience of love. And Rumi is one of the most famous bhakti yogis. He wrote all about love. And the line between romantic love and love for God is very blurred in his poems and his writings. And so he's an example of a bhakti yogi. So in Kundalini Yoga, we use all of the aspects of our practice, the exercise, the breathing, the mantras, the meditations, the chanting. We use all of these tools to experience our finite consciousness merge in its connection to the infinite consciousness. And because it's so comprehensive, there's a saying, I'll read the quote to you because I don't want anyone to misattribute it to me, but this is from Yogi Bhajan. And he says, in yoga, this is how it is. 12 years of Hatha Yoga, plus 6 years of Raja Yoga, plus 3 years of Mantra Yoga, plus 1 year of Laya Yoga is equal to the effect of just 1 complete year of Kundalini Yoga. I have not written this, so don't blame me. It is in the yogic scriptures. It is a matter of choice. And that's a quote from Yogi Bhajan about the differences between Kundalini Yoga and some of the other styles of yoga. And that dovetails nicely into our next question of who is Yogi Bhajan?
So, obviously, Kundalini Yoga was brought to the Western world and taught publicly by Yogi Bhajan. And he came here following his intuition, following his calling and his purpose. So to me, Kundalini Yogi Bhajan really is a teacher that brought the truth. And as I more and more learn about him from other teachers who directly, learn from him, specifically Guru Singh and others as well, I just learned that he was about the truth. His teachings were so pure, and the Kundalini Yoga that we practice, as we always say, or any books that are written about Kundalini Yoga by his direct students, they're all Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. So there are other ways of practicing Kundalini Yoga and how it's taught. But what we practice and what we follow is the Kundalini Yoga that's taught by Yogi Bhajan.
A couple of my favorite things about Yogi Bhajan are just imagining him living in India. He's a master of Hatha Yoga and Kundalini Yoga. He's very looked up to in his country, in his field. And Kundalini Yoga up until then was not allowed to be taught outside of specific groups of people in India. There was actually what I'll call now a superstition, but then it was a belief that if you taught Kundalini Yoga outside of these groups of people, that you would be dead within a year. And so Yogi Bhajan followed his inner guidance to come to the West and to teach Kundalini Yoga. And he chose Kundalini over Hatha Yoga because it's the more direct form. He was warned and told that in the West, it would be a hard sell to get people to come to a yoga of awareness over Hatha, which is like a yoga of physicality. And he chose to teach it instead because he didn't want to do what was easiest for him. He wanted to do what would benefit the people the most. Another thing that I like to clarify, especially for new students or if you haven't been in the Kundalini Yoga community for a while, it can get kind of confusing because people speak about Yogi Bhajan with such reverence as he is due. Like, he's very honored within our community, and we are all very grateful to him for taking the steps that he did and for teaching Kundalini in the West. But if you go to a Kundalini Yoga class, you might see like pictures of him up, or there's even a meditation where you meditate on his face. And it can be easy to misconstrue that that's a form of worship. And Yogi Bhajan was very clear that he was there to create teachers. He wasn't even there to gather students or worshipers or followers. He was there to meet people and empower people to use this technology to rise themselves up. And he wanted to create students who were more connected and more powerful than even he was. He was not looking for followers. And so I think if you're new to Kundalini Yoga and you see those pictures up or you hear the way teachers talk about him, it's easy to assume that we're meant to worship him, but that's not what he's taught. And in my experience, that's not what most people are doing. With the pictures, we're trying to call his consciousness in to help him guide us. And we speak of him with reverence because we're profoundly grateful for the Kundalini Yoga practice. And we in the West would not have learned it without his bravery and his courage. And so it's a matter of reverence without being worship, if that makes sense. For our fourth question, it's actually a question that came up in one of my classes recently. And a student asked me why the teachers wear all white, and if as a student you have to wear all white in order to practice.
Well, personally, I think it's very cool. Well, white keeps you cool, right? But again, is just like the practice of Kundalini Yoga is experiential. It's something you want to experience and see how it feels to you, and the difference of when you wear white, especially if you're practicing Kundalini Yoga or any other time. It doesn't have to be just on the mat. So when we wear white, we extend the projection of our aura, which we have as human beings, is like we project our aura expands 9 feet, but wearing white, we project it a little bit, about a foot further. And just the feeling of wearing white, every time I go to, after taking a shower and I'm ready to go to the class, when I put my white clothing on, it just gives me that, that feeling. That it could be a certain association also with it, but that what it does for me. But to answer the question that do we have to wear white, were we told we have to wear white? Absolutely not. You don't have to wear white to practice Kundalini Yoga. But again, when you do wear white, notice if there's any difference, in your own energy, in the feeling, and what it does for you.
Yeah, and wearing white also, the color white reflects other people's energies, and so it allows you to project even stronger. So you're not taking on the energy around you. It reflects it from you. And then one thing is that teachers, when we teach, we are supposed to wear white so that our projection is stronger. It helps us hold space as we teach. It helps us kind of, I don't know how else to describe it, hold space when we teach a class. But as a student, if you're not comfortable, you absolutely don't have to wear white. For our fifth question is, why is God mentioned in the music and oftentimes in class in a Kundalini Yoga class when it is not a religion? And what is meant by the word God in Kundalini Yoga?
So to me, that question would come up depending on our association to that word and how we perceive the word God, and from the conditional ways we have been taught, what God is not, through religions, our religious background and our belief system. So when we dove a little more deeply into the philosophies and teachings that Kundalini Yoga brings us, we get a better understanding of what it is that when we talk about God, that source energy that is in everything, is within us, is not another human being, is not another entity, but is just the all-encompassing energy that is part of the whole universe, and that higher consciousness. So when we learn it from that aspect, then kind of would answer some of the questions perhaps, and not see it from from a religious perspective.
Yeah, so if you remember, the goal of all of yoga is to merge the finite consciousness with the infinite consciousness. And in yoga, the word God is something like the infinite consciousness. And so it makes sense that the word would come up. It's actually stated in the trainings or in the teachings that God in Kundalini Yoga means the energy of the universe that generates, organizes, and destroys. And not destroys in a negative way, but like breaks down in order to be rebuilt. And so in your belief system, no matter what religion you are, or if you're atheist or agnostic, however you understand the mechanism and the force in the universe that generates or creates life, that organizes things, and that destroys or breaks apart in order to be reborn, however you conceptualize that, that's what God means. And so if the word God doesn't resonate well with you right now, then you can use, universal consciousness, infinite. You can even use a word like love or greater power or divine. Oh, divine's a good one. So you can replace that word in your mind if it doesn't resonate with you or if you have other attachments to the word. Okay, so that was it for part 1 of Kundalini Yoga question and answer. Quite a bit of information there in that 21-minute, or I guess 20-minute segment. As I said before, our next episode, episode 11, is part 2 and includes interesting questions, including how Kundalini Yoga would think about gender and how you can find and learn more about the amazing music we use in Kundalini Yoga. So those are 2 of the questions in the next episode. If you haven't already, if you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play, then that episode will just automatically appear on your device. Now we'll transition into our pranayam practice for today. We're actually going to revisit 3-part yogic breath or long deep breathing that we did in episode 1. It's always good to circle back around, try things you've done before, try them again, see how it feels now. And long deep breathing is such a crucial practice to do in yoga classes, but also throughout your life. If you notice that you're rushing or you're holding tension, instead of trying to push through and do more, just take a moment, take a breath, take a break, set your timer for 1 or 3 minutes, and do long, deep breathing, and it'll shift your whole perspective and your whole experience. When we practice long, deep breathing, we are teaching ourselves to use the full capacity of our lungs. So we use the abdominal or lower part of our lungs, our chest or middle part of our lungs, and then the clavicular or upper part of our lungs. So let's just get started. If you can, sit down, sit cross-legged or in a chair with your feet on the floor. You can close your eyes, focus them at the third eye. On your next inhale, gently lift your heart, spread open your shoulders so that your heart is standing tall and proud. Round your shoulders up, back, and down. Your hands can be on your knees in Gyan Mudra or just resting palms up, sitting up tall. Let's begin by taking a deep inhale together, not worrying about the 3 parts just yet, just inhaling deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Beautiful. On your next inhale, inhale to fill up your belly so your navel is extended. Once your belly is full, expand your ribs with inhale. Once your rib area is full, you can inhale just another sniff of air into the clavicle or upper shoulders. And then as we exhale, we go back the way we came, letting the shoulders down, exhaling air from the top of the lungs, compressing the ribs, and finally the navel. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Continue with this wave-like motion, inhaling from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the top of your head. You can feel that way. And then exhaling completely the other way. So your lungs are completely empty. Continue breathing in this pattern with your eyes closed, filling the body up, and then expending all the air. If you'd like to make it more meditative, as you inhale, you can mentally chant the word Sat. And as you exhale, mentally chant the word Nam. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Last one. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Beautiful. Let's inhale deeply together. Suspend the breath. Pull up on the pelvic floor. Direct the energy up the central channel of the body, out the crown of the head, eyes at the third eye. Squeezing the energy up. Exhaling. Relax the breath. Relax the shoulders. Relax the face. Let the breath come in and out naturally. And check in with yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to see what these few minutes of long, deep breathing did for you. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. It is said that breathing this way is relaxing and calming because it influences our parasympathetic nervous system. It increases the flow of prana, or life force, in us. It helps us to eliminate and prevent the buildup of toxins in our lungs because we're, filling up and emptying all of the area of our lungs. It is also said that it helps balance our body's pH, or acid-alkaline balance, and helps us to break subconscious habit patterns such as insecurities and fears. So there's a lot from this very simple practice. If you struggle with some of the other pranayams that we've done, or you're uncomfortable with the breathing exercises, just stick with this one. It's powerful and it's simple. Don't let its simplicity fool you. It's an amazing thing to do and to incorporate throughout your day. I hope that you enjoy. Before we wind up this episode, I wanted to share with you again that we have a program called the 10 Days of Kirtan Kriya available to you. So if you would like to deepen your practice of Kundalini Yoga, if you've heard about the benefits of a sadhana or a daily practice, but you're just not sure where to start or need some support with that, please head over to our website and you can sign up for the 10 Days of Kirtan Kriya. What will happen is right when you sign up, you'll get an instructional video that teaches you in detail how to do this meditation. And you'll also get a printable, like a piece of paper or a form that you can download and print out that has all of the instructions, and also a place where you can check off your progress over the 10 days. And then over the next 10 days, every morning in your inbox, you will receive a video for the day. And it's not the same video 10 times. It's 10 separate guided meditations. So they're a little bit different each time, which makes it nice and keeps it fresh. And so we want to support you it's something we're really passionate about, and helping you bring your Kundalini Yoga practice out of the studio and into your life. And so one of the best ways to do that is to start a morning or evening meditation practice. So to have access to that, you can just head over to our website at heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 10, which takes you to the show notes for this episode. And there will be links to the 10 Days of Kirtan Kriya program there. We also have a shorter thing that you can access there called Kirtan Kriya Starter Kit, and that just sends you the instructions. So I'm telling you that because on the episode page on episode 10, in the right-hand column, it's going to have the Kirtan Kriya Starter Kit, which is just the instructional video. But if you want the 10 meditation videos coming through the morning, then in the body of the show notes, find the links there. It's pretty well labeled. Just be careful that you're signing up for the 10 Days of Kirtan Kriya if you want all 10 videos. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for being here with us for another episode. We love you so much, and may the longtime sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.